Hello there. This week I am going to make a simple small posy to go to my local pub. We want it filled with seasonal flowers, and I'm challenging myself to create it colourful, random and using 3 stems of each flower variety and seeing, however random the flowers are, what the results are at the end. So if you want to see how this bucket of flowers turns into a posy, then stick around till the end. Hi, I'm Nicola from Bramble and Beyond, and I teach how to grow, dry and arrange seasonal flowers for your home. Today I'm making a small but joyful posy for my local pub to sit on their bar and bring in the season. So this bucket of flowers I picked last night, and they've been sitting in here conditioning overnight. I'm hoping I prepped them as I went, so i.e. taking the lower leaves off. And really I just wanted to pick out 3 stems of everything that I'm picking, so everything that's in flower at the moment, that A is good for drying, and then anything that is in the garden that is actually no good for drying but looks good in a vase. And I've added those in as well. So there is a right mishmash here of both colours, shapes, sizes, so all of the traditional floristry elements are kind of out the window. In the back of my head, I'm thinking, oh, I want focal, filler and foliage. So I'm thinking for foliage, we've got the euphorbia and a bit of mint here at the back. Maybe the ground elder. Filler, or even foliage, we've got some curly cress, so I might use that. Filler, we have calendula. I've got masses of this flowering at the moment, and I haven't yet found an easy and successful way of drying it. It just kind of crumbles when I dry it once it's dried. The colour remains, so I'm hopeful that there is some way of doing it, but with my setup at the moment, it just doesn't seem to work. I have, for filler also, I've got Sweet William. I've also got a lovely geranium, which I haven't really used as a flower before. Oh, Sweet William. Oh, everything's coming out at once. Sweet William, which is lovely. The flower heads aren't too big at the moment, so they make a great filler. This geranium, no idea what the name is. I don't believe it will dry very well. It's very fleeting in the garden, but it's looking good at the moment, and the colour's beautiful. Whether they go together, questionable, but we shall see. It's just a beautiful colour. What else have I got as filler? I think ground elder could be the filler. I have some achillea. I have some astrantia, which are beautiful, delicate flowers. Now these are fantastic for drying. They stay virtually the same dried, so I highly recommend them. They also have a good vase life, so I am hoping that when I go and deliver a new vase of flowers next week and pick up the old ones, these will be in the same state, so I can just dry them from there. So I haven't lost anything by putting them in the vase, is what I'm hoping. The same with if I use achillea and this ground elder. Ground elder is fantastic for drying, I discovered last year. Much better than cow parsley. I think because the flower heads are more compact, and the stems are sturdier, so it just holds itself much better. The cow parsley just kind of withers up and the colour dies, whereas this will stay quite bright white. Well, not bright, but quite white. And I have some sweet peas as a bit of fancy, not necessarily for the colour, because I know they won't last very long in the vase of flowers, but I'm hoping that the tendrils will look good. And as my focal flower, I have a lupin. I didn't want them too big because it is quite a small posy, and I didn't want it to overwhelm everything else. So what I want to do first is just lay everything out of what I've got, and then just quickly pull it all together. So let's get everything out. If I counted everything right, it should be 3 stems of everything. And it may be, it may be that there is simply too much, because I only want a small arrangement. But we shall see. My plan is I just go along the line, picking one at a time, adding them into my hand arrangement. Hand arrangement. And so it's just one stem as it goes. I'm not thinking about it. I'm kind of doing the thinking now, because I want to make sure that when I'm picking, I'm maybe not picking everything all at once, so that they're, as it goes round as I add them, there's not clumps of the same colour in one place. That shouldn't necessarily matter, but I'm thinking, because it's such a small arrangement, I really don't want it to be too overwhelmed. So I kind of want to spread out my fillers, my foliage, my focal throughout and along with the colours, so there's not too much clashing necessarily in one space. So this is what we've got. So let's begin. Should be fairly simple. So it may be, and I think it will be the case, but I'm actually just going to use one euphorbia, because it's quite a big head and I can kind of thread things through once we get more full. So euphorbia is a funny one. It seeps out a irritating sap when you pull off anything, so do be careful if you're using this. This has been once it's sealed, once everything's taken off and sealed, then you're fine. But just make sure that if you do need to trim it again, then, and if it does irritate you, then wear gloves. So, word of note. Now, I'm not the best at hand-tied bouquets. I am getting better at creating the swirl, and I know the theory, it just never seems to work in practice. So we'll see how we go today. I know you kind of hand it, put it in at an angle, and then just add from there. So we shall see. As I say, this posy is just about adding in everything one stem at a time. So in goes the geraniums twist. In goes the calendula and twist. Astrantia. Again, always laying it at that 45-degree angle. Curly cress. So that one I am going to strip it a bit more. Supposed to keep it quite loose whilst you're doing it at this point. Add a focal flower. I kind of want that higher than the rest, so maybe everything needs to be. So because of the vase, I kind of want it no more, if my hand is where the vase sits, I kind of want it no more than this in height. But I do want the lupins to stand out, so that means I need to strip out the leaves off the curly cress a bit more. So lupins in, twist, geranium, do wonder whether everything's going to get lost, but we shall see. Bit of mint. Bit of Sweet William. This, I think, this is the ground elder. I think I am actually going to take smaller stems of that. So again, I want the tendrils to be quite high. And then we're back to the start. I am going to leave out any more of the euphorbia because I think that's enough. And again, we just carry on. So now we're on our final 3. So I am actually going to position them where I think is perhaps missing. What I'm trying to do now, sorry, is even up anything that is heavily one-sided with the flowers. So if you can see here, I've got a Sweet William there and a Sweet William there, so I really need to have one this side, in my opinion. So it's looking reasonable from wherever. I have got the twist. That's the thing that I'm most pleased about these days. I am getting the twist. Right, I think we're done. So what we need is a bit of string. So if you can see, colourful mix of everything that's in the garden at the moment. There's no tonal colour palette going on here. So what I do, piece of string, put my thumb over the end, try and hold on to the end, that bit that we're looking at, wrap it round a few times, and then with the flower heads leaning over the edge of the bench, just do a gentle tie to secure everything in place. Then trim off the stems. So if I put them in there, let's give it a spin. So we have a colourful posy to sit on a bar in my local pub, bringing the garden inside. This is something you can do at home without too much things in flower. So as you saw, I just collected anything that was in flower and collected 3 stems of it. So you don't need to be too precious about, oh, it's going to wreck your garden by cutting flowers. 3 stems shouldn't be too invasive. And if it is a big flower head, like the euphorbia, You only need one of them and you can then thread it all in between. But if you enjoyed this video, then please subscribe, and I will, as I'll be posting more behind the scenes videos of creating flowers for the home, drying and even growing them. Until next time, happy gardening.